Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be working on several thrift flips together.
For our first project, I will be using some of the Decor molds by Redesign with Prima. These are new to my website, and I will be sure to drop the collection to all of the molds that I carry down below. I also picked up this silicone kit off of Amazon, which I will link in my Amazon shop as well. I'll need this silicone kit because today I will be using epoxy resin inside of my molds. I'll be sure to link the epoxy down below for you, but it is a two-part system. Here is the resin and the hardener. You need to mix equal parts. Once you have both parts in, it needs to be stirred for 5 whole minutes, and then it can be poured very carefully into our mold. I still have a little practice to do. This is my first time ever using resin. It did come with a couple of smaller little cups in the silicone kit, which I think will be easier next time. This epoxy needs to sit for 12 to 24 hours. Mine has sat for 24. It is nice and hard. Now it is time to pop it right out of the mold. Now I did take and break off the very end of the branch on this one so it would fit on my project. I just have this little decor board. I picked it up from the thrift store. We are going to glue our mold right on top of the design using Eileen's tacky glue. Once I have it set in place, I am going to go ahead and tape it down just to form a nice strong bond between the mold and my project, and we will let the glue dry. Once the glue has dried, now it is time for some DIY paint. This is the color Apothecary, and it is one of my favorites. DIY paint is a clay-based paint, highly pigmented, nice and thick, which means, as you can see, the coverage is amazing. I'm going in here with my DIY Perfectionist brush. The nice pointy tip on this one gets in between all of the details of the mold. I give the entire project one coat of paint. I let that dry and then go back and just touch up any spots where the coverage might have not been perfect. I don't have to end up doing 2 whole coats. I call this like a coat and a half. I let the paint dry completely, and now it is time to wax this piece. I'm starting off with DIY clear wax and just doing one nice thin even coat over the entire piece. I'm using a chip brush here. It is easier. You can just dispose of them after several uses when they are old and gross, but do note here it leaves a few stray bristles. So if that annoys you, you can use a regular wax brush as well. Once I have one solid coat on, I just take a plain paper towel and wipe back any excess wax. And now it's time for the magic, going in with my DIY white wax. Same great formula, but this is a white wax, hence the name. And I'm going to apply it over my mold, making sure I'm getting down into all of my low points. I'm going to work in small sections and wipe back excess wax off of the high points as I go. That is going to leave the wax down in those lower points and really make all of the details on this mold pop. I'll go ahead and continue that same method over the entire piece until I have it completed. The last detail I'm going to add is some of the Sweet Pickins grit, and this is an aging powder. It is gray, and I love using it next to Apothecary. It's a little softer than using the dark decrepit dust. So you're just going to use it to age and antique your piece. I'm going in down around all of the little corners and crevices on this mold, and since I just waxed it, the grit is going to stick to that wax very well. Added my little detail pieces, brush back any excess, and you can see it just adds some extra emphasis around those details. And here is a look at this piece all finished up. What do y'all think about this first thrift flip? We went from the outdated, scratched up D design on this board to a beautiful French country springtime decor piece. Drop me a comment, let me know if you have ever tried a decor mold, and if you haven't, which one will you be ordering first?
To shop my flips, finds, and also my products, visit upcycledbybrie.com. I'll drop all the links that you need down in the description box below.
For our second project, we are going to be using these pieces of salvage wood that I got off of a thrifted bed frame. I've already chopped it up and sold off most of the spindles and parts, but I didn't want to get rid of these huge pieces. I definitely saw potential. First up, I'm going to be using some air dry clay here and making a couple of little clay eggs to sit and dry while we do the rest of our project. I've got the same DIY apothecary paint color here, and we'll give the eggs one nice little coat using an artist brush. I also grabbed these place card holders off of Amazon, and I am going to trim off the bottom base, leaving just the top holder and the metal stick. Using my drill, I'm going to drill in several holes here. A couple of them will be for some lavender and one will be for our note card holder. Some lavender off of Amazon. I will just trim little single sprigs off of this pick and place them down in the holes. I didn't even glue them in, and that way you could switch the flowers out seasonally, maybe some pine picks in the winter or some leaves in the fall. Using DIY dark wax, I'm going to age up the ends of this piece to make it match more with our antiqued wood stain. I'm just applying it right over the raw wood, and I'll wipe back any excess. You can see before and after, now it blends in much nicer. I'm using some Excelsior here to form a little bird's nest, which I'll stick down in the hole of this salvage, and then I'll pop in one of those little clay eggs that we painted up. I popped in one of my business cards to show you for display, but you could also add a family photo in or any kind of paper ephemera of your choice. I am so glad I did not throw away these end pieces of the bed frame. I am obsessed with this display. For our last project, we will be upcycling these brass lamps. I grabbed them for $5 each from the bins, and now we are going to take them apart and make them decor. I'm using this Modern Master Metal Effect Rust Activator. It is the third step in a 3-part paint system that provides a rust finish. But if you use only the rust activator on the brass, it makes a very realistic verdigris patina. So I've placed some here in my continual mist bottle, and I'm just going to give these lamps a spray down before I even take them apart. And the next morning, they look so aged and beautiful. Isn't that amazing? This one got rusty and green verdigris. The other ones looked a little more like a white verdigris patina, but I do love how all of them came out. Now, to take them apart, it is very easy. You're going to need some wire cutters and clip the cord, then remove any bottom covering on the lamp. This one was just like a cardboard cover. Using pliers, I will hold a nut down in place on the bottom of the lamp and unscrew the top. Once that happens and it's unscrewed, you can simply slide out the electrical stem that kind of runs down through the lamp, and your pieces will pop right apart. Now that we have our pieces, time to decorate. I added a candle pillar to our larger base, some beautiful thrifted florals into the medium-sized piece, and for our tiniest piece, I simply placed an egg right on top. Drop me a comment down below. Let me know, how would you decorate these salvage brass pieces? I love that we could create beautiful home decor out of old brass lamps that would have otherwise probably ended up at the dump. Let me know if you're going to recreate any of these projects today. I would love to see your versions as well.
If you love these upcycling videos, be sure to give me a thumbs up and send this video over to a friend as well. Don't forget to subscribe. Check me out on all social media platforms. All the links for those are down below as well. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. Bye, friends.